Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it.
Everyone knows about Jackie Robinson, Jesse Owens. Everyone's familiar with those names. But Charles W. Follis was an unknown until today. My name is Herman Smith, the great nephew to the first professional black football player. The true test of a man's character is what he does when no one is watching. So in a sundown city, the rule is, if you're black and you're out past the sun, when it goes down, you can be killed. You can be jailed. Imagine living in a city where when the sun goes down, you have to take up residence outside the city limits, or your life could be in danger. These are the things that Charles had to go through every day to become the silent hero that no one knows about. And today, the first tell-all book from the family, Follis, Greatness Transcends. The relationship and what influenced Branch Rickey to bring Jackie Robinson into the league. The relationship between Branch Rickey and my Uncle Charles. The mission of the Charles Follis Foundation is to educate minds, inspire hearts, and move the feet of the community by hearing the true events of the man they call Charles Follis, the first professional black football player. The story of Charles Follis, Greatness Transcends, will be available September 8th, 2023.
Hello, hello, hello. Have we got a show for you tonight? I am so excited to have with me the great nephew of Charles W. Follis and the award-winning journalist, Ralph Paulk. And I'm going to bring them up. I'm going to bring up Ralph first. Hello, Ralph. How are you today? I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
I'm sorry. Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. Well, let me tell the audience a little bit about who you are, and then I'm going to pull up the great nephew of Charles W. Follis. But first of all, Ralph N. Paulk is an award-winning journalist whose first book, Jim O'Brien, Bucking the Odds, was published by Sports Publishing Incorporated in February of 2002. The book chronicles the remarkable comeback of a coach who took a dysfunctional Big Ten program and led it to the NCAA Final Four basketball tournament in just 2 years. I lost my space. Okay, the book chronicles the remarkable comeback of a coach who took, I already said that. So the Big Ten program and led it to the NAACA Final Four basketball. The tournament in just 2 years. Let me calm myself. O'Brien triumphed over tragedy, particularly the death of his wife, Christine. As a single dad, he taught his craft to his two daughters, both of whom would become coaches. Paulk, a Michigan State University graduate, has spent more than 30 years as a sports reporter with several newspapers, including Pittsburgh Tribune Review, Richmond Times-Dispatch, Akron Beacon Journal, Detroit Free Press and Akron Beacon Journal. A native of Ambrose, Georgia, he began his career as a military journalist, covering also NATO exercises in Southern Europe. An award-winning sports writer, was honored as Sports Writer of the Year in Ohio and Virginia, and honored for his investigative and enterprise reporting by the Society of Professional Journalists and Associated Press sports editors. In 3 states, including Pennsylvania, where he covered the Pittsburgh Steelers, golf, and auto racing. Paulk, elected in 2017 as president of the largest predominantly Black golf club in the country, Town Golf Club and Town Golf Charities, was a part of the 1994 Pulitzer Prize-winning team with the Akron Beacon Journal. Paulk and his wife, Marilyn, have 5 children: David, Tara, Ralph, Brittany, and Amber. Now let me talk about our co-author, and let me pull him up right quick. Sorry, I messed up your reading that. Oh my goodness.
Good. That's good. That's okay. I messed up
Okay. How are you, Herman?
I'm doing well, Vera. Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad that you are here, and let me tell our audience a little bit about who Herman is. Herman D. Smith, the great nephew of Charles W. Follis and grandson to his youngest brother, Joseph W. Follis and Florence Follis. Being of direct blood lineage gives him, as the author, the authoritative perspective no one else can pen. He has personally heard the stories from his ancestors, witnesses, professional historian, accompanied by family artifacts and Follis enthusiasts. I can't even say that. Alike throughout his lifetime. He lived and slept in the same homes in Wooster, Ohio, raised by some of the same family members described in this biography. As children, they digested all of their family history, principles, and morals, and never before heard factual events that we will share today. These individuals have contributed greatly into shaping him into the man he is today, dedicated to his girls, Victoria Smith, Alana Smith, and Brianna Smith. So thank you. I am excited to have you here. And what I'm going to do, I know we're here to talk about your great uncle, but first, we want our audience to know a little bit about each of you. So I'm going to start with Ralph, and I'd like for you to share with our audience who is Ralph Paulk, and just give us some of your history, starting from when you were a child on up. So let me give you the floor.
All right, I'll do that, and I'll try to skip all that stuff you just talked about. Just a little bit. Actually, it's interesting that I ended up writing this book on Charles Follis, because for much of my life I've been a student of history. Even as a middle school kid, history is my favorite subject, always has been. And when I talk about Black history, really I'm trying to transform Black history to American history is one of the reasons why the book is written the way it is. To talk a lot about the significant events, particularly in Black history, during the time of his Charles Follis' life, from 1879 to 1910. Now, uh, for me, sports was always a part of my life. Uh, my brothers and I had five brothers, and we all participated in baseball and football and track, and we were very competitive. A bunch. To be honest with you, I was born in Georgia, but we ended up moving to Florida after my parents passed at a very young age, and so we pretty much started playing sports, and that was my impetus really got to get to writing, because I was a huge Miami Dolphins fan in South Florida, and every time the Dolphins played a game on Sunday, I would write about it. Even when I was in middle school. So that's how I really got interested in writing. Watching NFL films, and I always say, I could write something better than what they're talking about. And I think I really challenged myself to do that. So as a kid, I'm pretty much living my dream as a child in writing. Ultimately, I was decent enough in football. Never a great athlete, but I was decent enough, to earn some scholarships to different colleges. But really, my family had been one of service, particularly in the military. All five of my brothers that were in the Army, but I joined the Marine Corps. I love them dearly, but they picked the wrong service, obviously. So in the Marine Corps, I think I really began to harness my passions, of writing in particular, but also boxing in the Marine Corps. That was another thing about finding something to do and being competitive, something to push you, and nothing like pushing you when you're boxed in the Corps. Because it seems like on our team, on my own same boxing team I was, Leon Spinks went to the Olympics and he ended up winning the heavyweight title, beating Muhammad Ali. We had a couple of J.B. Williamson won a world championship. So I had the pleasure actually of doing a lot of different things in the court, and I think it molded me and set me up to be not just my career, but really it set me up to be, I think, a father in many ways. So my wife and I, we have 5 kids, and that's and I can say a lot of the things I learned in the Corps, I use those to be a father. My kids may not be too happy about that, but it worked out for them anyway. So and I always wanted to write a book. I used to tell myself that all the time. I just got to write a book. So when I had an opportunity to cover Ohio State, particularly their Cinderella season in 1999, they ended up going to the Final Four. And this was a team that General Bryant took. Really, they were horrible. He had a bunch of misfits and kids he just pulled together. He brought a kid from Boston College with him, and they ended up going to the Final Four. It was a remarkable story. And I thought long about it, and had a conversation with Jim O'Brien about need to do a book on this. And I think in four months I actually wrote the book, and we got it published, and it worked out okay. But for me, to kind of shorten this up a little bit, I think after a long career in journalism, I decided to step away from it for a while, and I went became a teacher in Akron Public Schools for 4 years. But then I had that itch to write again, so I went back to journalism to cover politics in Fort Myers, Florida. It was pretty dirty, but hey, that's politics. And then I ended up going to Richmond to cover NASCAR. Then I went to Pittsburgh to cover the Steelers. Then I came back home to work in Akron Public Schools again. So I've made all these circles around. But probably one of the highlights for me is coming back home to Akron. Is to become president of the largest Black golf club and golf charities in the country. So we do a lot of good community service work, and it's led me to a lot of different avenues, and even led me to politics. So I'm running now for Summit County Council in Ohio.
Well, congratulations on your run, and I wish you much success. And one of the things that you said when you said that from a child, you knew writing was something that was just innate in you. And so you discover your passions and you discover your life, and that was your whole life. Just
Right.
beautiful, beautiful story. Now, Herman, I want you to share with us more about who is Herman Smith, and let's just hear about you.
All right. Well, Herman Smith, Vera mentioned, I am the great nephew to Charles Follis. I grew up in the West Akron area. I siblings of one sister and one brother. We grew up in sports. It's a big thing in Northeast Ohio for your listeners. Sports is a big avenue, uh, kind of a getaway from your neighborhood or whatever your outcome is to be able to express yourself and have some fun. So for us growing up, football, sports, basketball, and track was a big influence on our life. We had uncles and even our father. He was we mentioned it in the book, he was sort of a superstar in the Akron area in high school as well. So growing up there in Akron, we played sports. We moved out to the suburb of Akron, I guess you'd say, in the Copley area, and that's where we uh, did our high school years. And like I said, we were fortunate enough to, as Ralph mentioned, be decent enough to earn some looks in the college level to where we both received D1 scholarships in football. Um, of course, your dreams don't always come through. You don't make it to the NFL. So we took the other route. I joined the military. Um, and in the military, I joined the United States Air Force. And what that did is it took me, I won't say all over the world, but it took me all over the nation. Um, it kind of molded me, uh, gave me a little bit more of the morals and principles that had already been instilled in me from my parents. Um, from that, I learned the skill that I do currently today, managing data centers for Fortune 100 and 500 companies across the nation. I've been doing that ever since my military graduation in the early 90s. And since then, in my private life, I have three beautiful daughters who have been such a delight, no issues there. As we as fathers, we kind of tend to be very security conscious when it comes to the daughters, any kid, but the daughters in especially. But I have two graduates out of Bowling Green, and I have a sophomore here in the Columbus area. So currently, that's pretty much my background there, and we thank you for having us on your show, Vera.
Well, I'm just honored to have you here. And I want to say to both of you, thank you for serving in the military and thank you for being such dedicated fathers. When I was in Akron, one of the things I was involved in was the Fatherhood Initiative. And so I have a heart for dads, and little girls need their fathers very much so. And so thank you guys for being committed to your children. Now, let's talk about this book. Let me pull it up here. This is the book, Follis Greatness Transcends. Congratulations on this book, and it can be picked up on Amazon and every place that you can think to buy a book. And
That's
so,
that's correct, Vera.
yes, and it's interesting because you had this interest in sports all your life, and just think it's an ancestral kind of thing because here you had a great uncle back in, when did he start his career?
His career started in 1899 in Worcester, Ohio.
1899 in Worcester, of all places.
Yeah. Yes.
Worcester, Ohio. Oh
That,
my goodness. Well, let's talk about this book, and let's talk about some of the events that you mentioned in this book. And as we're talking, I'm going to be pulling up some pictures that you can refer to in the book. And so the first one, of course, is when I'll let you share. I'll shut up.
no, so thank you. We have right here. This is a picture of Charles and these are the two captains are depicted here by the Worcester High School. As you can see, Charles is 1899 and Roland Curry is in 1901. So even back then, it goes to show you the proudness and power of this black young man had to be named the captain of the football team.
And let's kind of give our audience some kind of reference here, because Worcester, Ohio. Talk about Worcester, Ohio for a minute, because Ohio is one of those states where there aren't a whole lot of opportunities for Black folks, and especially back during that time. So talk a little bit about that if you can.
Certainly. I'll speak on it from a family's perspective. In most cases, as a child, when we would visit Worcester back then, it would be rarely that you would see individuals that look like you. So keep that in mind when you depict and picture Worcester, Ohio. Farmland, bunch of rural area space, and again, individuals that you really wouldn't see that look like you. So for an individual and then a family to be able to come into a city of that nature and get white individuals to rally behind him, because they did not have a football team until Charles. Charles actually started the football team in Worcester, Ohio. So he had to go around in the city and petition and get the parents and the school officials to back him. So that gives you a little bit of a history on what Worcester, Ohio was back then in those times.
Yes, well, that's why I wanted you to share it so people understand this is not like Atlanta or any of the metropolitan areas where there's a bunch of Black folks doing stuff. This is a community that is predominantly white, and for him to make the strides that he made back in 1899 in Worcester, Ohio, that is saying a lot. And as a result of his work, we have the Follis Field. Do you want to talk about that in Worcester, Ohio?
Most definitely. This is erected for my Uncle Charles for all this hard work and dedication and for starting the program at Worcester High School in 1899. So this field was dedicated to him, as you can see here, Follis Field, and it's a tremendous stadium.
Beautiful.
In honor of Charles.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And also, Ralph, you can chime in anytime. Okay. All right. Now tell us about this.
This here is what Charles was when 1902, as you can see, the College of Worcester. Again, this is right after high school. Charles was, again, the best player. It goes to show that not only was he an all-star in football, but he also had an athletic prowess in baseball as well.
Wow.
So he was also the star slugger. He was the type of hitter to come up and hit home runs on the first pitch out of the stadium.
Wow. And this is a picture of him, a proud Black man. Yes.
Most definitely. The interesting about this photo here is it depicts him with his helmet, Vera, but Charles never wore a helmet.
What?
It's one of the things, it wasn't as it is today, where it is not an option. Back then, it was more of a brutal sport. And so this picture was taken with the helmet. But as you can see, Charles, later on in the book, we have some action photos of him running, and he is not wearing a helmet.
Now, and that's amazing because football is dangerous. It's a dangerous sport. My son got upset with me because I didn't want him to play because I thought it was too dangerous, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, we're talking about Follis here. So
I would like to add that I think it says a lot about Charles Follis that, in high school, that he can actually start a football team, a young Black, teenager. It says a lot about the family, I think, more than anything. That from the grandfather to the father, the mother, instilling certain disciplines and really a level of confidence, that it's kind of hard to explain. So having that sense, that innate ability to connect with other people, and generally people who are not like him,
Yes.
to pull them in. I think that really becomes a reflection of
Yes.
about the family as a whole. Because you think about all they had to deal with
Yes.
in Virginia before they made that move, to Worcester. In reality, is that they came to a place that wasn't too much different than where they left, but
Right.
they created an environment that enabled them to thrive.
And that goes to show that no matter what the obstacles, no matter what barriers may be put in front of you, when you've got one innate ability, and when you've got that kind of family stability and support around you and supporting you, you can do anything. You can overcome anything, anything. And he's a perfect example of that. And I know you also have this foundation. And Ralph, you want to kind of talk a little bit about the foundation?
Well, I think that's more of a Herman thing, but
Oh,
certainly,
okay.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
with the foundation though, I think as a writer, and not just a writer, but really someone who studied his history for a long time, and we always want to be a part of that. And we have our own charity organization in Akron, which really like to at some point really partner with the Charles Fowles Foundation, because really their mission is a lot like ours. They believe in a lot of things that we believe in, and so we'd be really proud to be a part of that. And I think it's a tremendous an effort that they put forth there to make this happen. And I'll defer to Herman. He and his brother Dwayne have and their family have done a great job of putting this together.
Okay. Well, Herman, you want to talk about this foundation?
Definitely. The Charles Follis Foundation it was founded by myself and my brother, um, Dwayne Smith, in 2021. And the mission of the Charles Follis Foundation is basically this: is we want to educate the minds and inspire the hearts and move the feet of the community. A lot of times you can get the first two, but people aren't taking action and moving their feet out here in the community. And so we want to do that by introducing these stories that we just talked about of courage, strength, and endurance embodied by Charles. So with that, we want to use the three pillars that we music, art, and sport. And we want to give back into those categories. And like Ralph indicated earlier, uh, use our resources with other foundations such as Tire Town and really move this thing forward for the community and for the children.
And it is so needed. I mean, especially having lived in Akron and Canton, it is so needed because there are not a whole lot of opportunities for our children in these communities. And so, this foundation, I love what you said about it. As a matter of fact, let me pull up the mission, and you want to share the mission again?
Certainly. This is the mission of the Charles Follis Foundation. The mission of the Charles Follis Foundation is to educate the minds, inspire hearts, and move the feet of those in our community by introducing the true stories of courage, strength, and endurance embodied by Charles W. Follis on the playing field and in the real game we all strive for, life.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so, tell me, like, can you share some of the accomplishments of the foundation, some stories about the foundation and what you've done so far?
Yes, certainly. So far, we're in our infant stage. We're new to this, and with this show, we're trying to get out to the audience and let them know that, hey, look at us. We're here. We're available, and we want to serve the community. So with individuals like Ralph, we're going to lean on his expertise in the Tire Town Foundation and some of their historic things that they've done, and kind of follow suit in that blueprint. So with Ralph's help, like he said earlier, we want to team up together and really give this thing a push going forward.
That's wonderful. And let me pull out some of the officials of the Tire Town Golf Club. And so, Ralph, you want to tell us more about your foundation and what it is that you're doing, and give us some milestones from your efforts?
Well, Tartown Golf Club actually was founded in 1950, so it's one of the oldest, but it is the largest, black golf club in the country, one of the largest, period. But we also have a charities that goes with that, and the purpose is to generate, scholarships for kids. We also have a junior program, which we partner with First Tee and NAACP and others in the city of Akron, and with businesses as well. So much of the focus, what we're focusing on, youth, education, are some of the same things that the Follis Foundation is doing. So I think what ultimately there's going to be widespread support for the Follis Foundation nationwide, and it just kind of starts out, inside out. But I think you're going to see it grow tremendously over the years, and I know with us, we've grown a lot in the last several years. And that's really just partnering, with local businesses, and getting more involved, getting more people in the community involved. We do a lot of volunteer work, So I think all these things are some of the things I think that Herman and Dwayne are talking about, with their foundation.
That's wonderful. And speaking of golf, so often when you think about golf, you don't think about Black folks doing golf. Let's be real. We don't think about Black folks involved in golf. Whenever you see it on TV, you got a speckle, a few out there, but it's always been perceived as a white man's game, and where business deals are established on the golf course. And so to know that there's a foundation that's been around since 1950, did you say?
Right. And I think really up to about 2016, 2017, we kind of changed our direction a little bit. It's golf, of course, but really the whole point of it has changed. We have a new culture. It basically is focused on service and community.
That's wonderful. That is really wonderful. And there are some milestones and some accomplishments and accolades that Charles Follis has received that we want to kind of talk about as well. And the first one being this. So, Herman, you want to talk about the pre-NFL years, 1904 to 1999, and what this picture represents.
Yes. What you're looking at here is an actual picture of Charles from 1904 with the Shelby Blues when he was a professional and the first professional Black football player. This picture is actually located in Canton, Ohio at the Hall of Fame. And what is interesting about this is, and that we're advocating for, Charles does not have an actual bust or gold jacket in the Canton Hall of Fame. The argument there is he predates the beginning of the NFL years of 1920. We know Charles played in 1902 to 1906 as the only Black American playing professional football here in the Americas. So we're trying to advocate to get the NFL committee and those in power to recognize what Charles has done and to give him that bust and gold jacket that he so deservingly needs and deserves.
Absolutely. And we're going to just rally with you to make that happen. And if it takes petitions or whatever it takes, let's make that happen. Another recognition.
And I would say too, Vera, that for all my years, I covered the NFL for a lot of years. Was Detroit, the Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh, and just the NFL in general. And I've gone to a lot of and covered a lot of induction ceremonies at the Canton Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I think most writers would tell you probably a third of the players in the NFL Hall of Fame, not they don't deserve to be there, but their accomplishments and what they mean to the sport, I don't think hold the same kind of weight or gravity, that Charles Follis does. I can mention any number of names, but I won't get into that. About certain players who are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's another debate for another time. But the criteria in which the league supposedly has, or sports writers have, those folks who vote on that kind of thing, I'm not too sure it has to change. But what they have created is a senior committee who actually dig up old players and somehow get them to the Hall of Fame. And certain teams have the power to do that. But it seems like those old players, always old white players, from an era in which the league fights back against. So this is another era. So why don't they ever consider Charles Follis? Ohio is considered by most to be the birthplace of pro football. This was the birth of pro football. This era in which they played in Shelby, and Canton, and Massillon, and Akron. So this is it makes no sense if you want to honor those folks who started the game. Then that's how you do it. For my money, someone like Branch Rickey, who was a backup to Charles Follis, a man who paved the way for Jackie Robinson to bring the color barrier in baseball, he should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame for some of the things that he accomplished. Working and playing baseball, playing football with Charles Follis, creating this atmosphere for Jackie Robinson. People just have to understand the historical significance of all these things, coming together. And I think once they start looking at it that way, and this is why we wrote the book, it's for people to understand, how it is and why it is this man should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's a pioneer.
Yeah,
we're not guessing about numbers here.
right.
Totally irrelevant. I can go through the halls of the Hall of Fame, and I can throw out 30, 40 people who had no business being in there. I'm tempted to throw out names in a second, but
Don't do
We'll
it right.
hold off on that. Wow. But you know what? So there's got to be a way to further that effort. And, like I told you guys before the show, I'm headed back to Ohio. So if there's any way that I can be instrumental in helping to further that, then I'm definitely open to doing whatever I can to help further you getting him that gold. It's a gold jacket, right?
Mhm.
And that bust, because he deserves it.
I've
And
actually considered, getting these different groups, black organizations together, NACP, the Urban League, some activists together, and they should think about when they have that Black Hall of Fame football game in Canton, and before they have the Hall of Fame ceremonies in August. Then the only way to get things done in this country, you got to protest, you got to demand them.
yeah, you do.
Maybe a good place to do that would be at the Hall of Fame, weekend of ceremonies, and to make
Absolutely.
them recognize what's going on here.
Absolutely. And also petitions.
Mm-hmm.
Get some a petition and get folks to sign it and
Mm-hmm.
present it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and let them know. And not just black signatures, but white signatures as well.
Mm-hmm.
And let them know this is a well-deserved honor that
Mm-hmm.
is past due. And
Right.
if he can be recognized in some of these other things I'm getting ready to show, like, for example, this, you want to talk about that, Herman?
Yes, well, it's just an Ohio historical marker. We know those are given to significant individuals within your state. So we see here that our government in Ohio does recognize the importance and the influence of what Charles has to the communities and society and Ohio as a whole. So this is erected here in front of the Follis Field in Worcester High School. By William G. Pomeroy.
And on top of that, the governor.
Yes.
Talk about this.
This one is a big one, and this is for not just Ohioans and not just what they want to say black folk. This is for all individuals. I bet you didn't know that there's a law in Ohio for a black man in Charles Follis. Yes. I see the expression on your face there,
Yeah,
Vera.
yeah. Tell us more.
Well, in 2018, Governor Kasich signed the law February 3rd, which is Charles Follis's birthday, as Charles Follis Day throughout all of Ohio. So as you see here, this picture is a picture of some of the government officials, and of course, Governor Kasich there, myself and my mother, here to witness the historical day of Charles Follis Day, February 3rd. So we want everyone, we kind of squeaked by it this year, but it falls, of course, during Black History Month, which is also important. But next year, we want to have a bigger push to celebrate Charles during that day on Charles Follis Day, February 3rd.
Amen. Well, let's make it happen. And then there's also this street. You want to talk about that?
Also, these are more accolades that are given to Charles, even though after his passing, unfortunately, he was unable to see these, but we're here to bear witness. What you see here is a street named after my uncle Charles Follis Way. And to the left, there's a small picture of him next to the C in Charles. This is actually located in Shelby, Ohio, Vera, where he played football as the first professional Black football player. And what's interesting about Shelby is Shelby was known as a sundown city. And of course, we know what that is for our listeners out there. So to have this street erected in his name a century later is just an outstanding accomplishment. And it shows about the character of what Charles and his influence still today has.
And for our listening audience that do not know what sundown means, you want to share with that, tell them exactly what that means?
Well, what that means is exactly that. When the sun goes down in your city, and if you're a person of Black color, you can be killed or you can be jailed just for the color of your skin. So in this instance, what's interesting about Charles is he was allowed to play during the daytime in the games, but at night he had to sleep outside the Shelby city limits. And he was the star of the team. So that goes to tell you it'd be today of equivalent of Aaron Rodgers or somebody being able to play in Green Bay or New York and didn't have to sleep outside their city. You can't fathom that. But these are the things that he went through on a daily basis.
And again, you guys that are listening and will be listening, you don't understand the magnitude of what happened with this man. You don't understand. In Ohio, Black folks don't get this kind of recognition, especially back in the 1800s. Are you kidding me? And so for him to have this kind of recognition in towns that were notorious for racism and Ku Klux Klan and all of those kinds of things, for him to have that kind of recognition in those areas, you know what? I'm going to pause for the cause and do a commercial. Okay, so let me do that right quick. I'm pulling one up. Okay.
Let me introduce you to ChatBridge. It's a revolutionary new solution for getting great results from your online networking. Today, online networking has become the standard for millions of professionals. However, getting results from your meetings can be a daunting task. But now that challenge has been solved. Everyone knows how hard virtual meeting follow-up is. You go to an online meeting where at the end, people say save the chat to follow up. And now you have a nearly unusable and ugly chat text file to work with. You can now say goodbye to the hassles of downloaded Zoom-type chat records. For the first time, with the introduction of this new ChatBridge tool, you have a simple system to easily import, search, review, follow up, and find opportunities with the people you meet in all of your virtual networking meetings. And we also made it easy to archive all of your chat files and information on the people you met networking for future use. And it doesn't stop there. With Chatbridge, when you select people to follow up with, you can view their exact posts and even click into their website, LinkedIn profile, or Facebook page if they shared it. Then you can import your selected contacts into the powerful EngagePro system or export your contacts to your CRM, email tool, or autoresponder. Following up and getting great results from online networking is now easy and just a click away. Experience the power of the new Chatbridge, and you'll quickly see how to find new clients, get more referrals, speaking opportunities, and JV partners. There's nothing like it. Find out now how economical and easy it is to get the results you want from online networking at chatbridgeconnect.com.
Let me tell you about Chatbridge. If you go to a lot of networking meetings and you save the chat, in most cases they're left in a folder, and then you open it and you got all this garbled up stuff. But with Chatbridge, one click and your chats are organized with emails, phone numbers, the content of the chat, as well as the links to connect with other people. And it makes it so easy to do that. This link will give you a free test run of Chatbridge. So go to bit.ly/chatbridgevt and test run it and see for yourself how powerful it is. And while I'm running my mouth, let me also say, please support the Vera Thomas Show. And you can do that in several different ways. You can comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I would appreciate you doing that. Or to help support this show, you can provide a donation through Cash App, $InStillGreat, or Venmo at VT1117. Your support is greatly appreciated and greatly needed. So thank you very much. And I do have another commercial that I want to play, and then we'll come back and continue our conversation.
Mama Knows creates high quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products, because you know, Mama knows what you need.
Let me tell you about these products. They are amazing. They smell great. They work great. Shampoos, conditioners, moisturizers, hair serums. And it is for all ethnicities. And it's for boys, girls, men, and women. You want to check out Mama Knows products. Why? Because Mama knows what you need. All right. Now, back to this. And you know, I felt like that was a good time to kind of pause for the cause, because I know I was getting a little riled up there.
That's good. We're trying to rile people up.
That's what we,
it is. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's time. You
talked about Vera. I'm sorry. You talked about how someone like Charles Follis and his family could thrive in that environment. And I'm reminded in Lodi, not too far from Worcester, is where there was a real strong existence of the Ku Klux Klan there. It takes me back to probably the most unfortunate part about this story in this book, is his death. And as we're kind of going through that, I think way back when in the mid 1990s, when I first wrote a piece on Charles Follis, I was very suspicious about how he died. Typically, you think of someone, they played a lot of baseball back in the day, in the Negro Baseball League. They played a lot of games. And they played 2 and 3 games a day. You had to be in top physical condition to do that. So when I think about, the story surrounding his death, about him dying of pneumonia, on his porch, and none of it ever made any sense to me. I think as a family, it's researched some stuff, and I think the evidence is pretty strong to support, that there was more than likely foul play, in his death. This is something I think historically that we spend a lot of time trying to correct, Black history, and we also have to tell, our narrative, our truth to these stories, and that starts with stories just like these. So a lot of times either don't go report it at all, or it just isn't true. And I think in the case that I think we all came to the conclusion that that's not how he died. So I think remarkably, Herman and Dwayne did that did a due diligence to come up with the evidence. And so I think anybody with an objective mind, if you looked at the death certificate, you looked at the number of things that happened after his death, it didn't make any sense. So it kind of the conclusion had to be that something wasn't right there, and so no one knows exactly what happened, but we have a pretty good idea.
What do you think happened?
Well, I think he was actually murdered at the end of the day, and I think it was some hate group. It could have been. That's just my thought, but he's certainly an athlete of his stature. I can't imagine you're playing baseball and then the next day you die of pneumonia. It just doesn't make any sense, So I think you can see where I can use the word doctor. That maybe the death certificate was inaccurate. It didn't make any sense to some of the other things that happened, so it just didn't add up. The time, the dates, and I'm sure Herman, could follow up on that. But I think really that the research revealed that this is a well-conditioned athlete. He was relatively healthy even at that time. So that's why I was very disappointed when I went to Worcester to watch an event they had on him, and it kind of falls into that trap of people continue to repeat lies.
Mm-hmm.
And then they become truths.
Mm-hmm.
So
don't we see that now?
Exactly. So we're trying to fix that, and I think Black historians in particular have a responsibility. So do journalists, to correct those wrongs, and moving forward and try to write our own history so we can create our own narrative about these things actually happen.
And it needs to be in all public schools. Absolutely. Herman, you want to touch more on this?
Certainly. From a family perspective, Ralph is right. The family has always known all along that there was foul play. Our family has been basically hunted, not like other Black families have not been, but we do have death threats of killing the Follis men in our family. So we do know that there's encounters. We do know that Charles himself was involved and an active member of many Black militias throughout Ohio. And truth be told is that his funeral service newspaper article, where it indicates there were several hundred soldiers from the Black militia guarding the funeral, as well as other different groups throughout Ohio, Black freedom fighters, as you would say, they're in attendance. The important thing I want to add on this is back then, Blacks normally would have their funerals in their home because, of course, the funeral parlors are mostly owned by whites, and that was not heard of. But the case of Charles, we have the newspaper article with witnesses, and we known as a family. Initially, we had the funeral was to be held at the Follis home. Due to massive threats of finishing off the Follis men, it was then moved to the church within Worcester, which my grandfather, Charles's baby brother, built. So it was moved there, and at that point, that's where the Black militia and different military armies throughout Ohio came together to guard the funeral. Now you have to ask yourself, who are they guarding the funeral from? So
I just wonder. And you know, oh, I'm hearing this noise. And you know, the thing is, this is 2024, and we are still dealing with the same stuff that happened in 1899. You know, it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop. And each of us have got to find a way to do our part to help make it stop. They're trying to eliminate our history in the school systems when it needs to be amplified. I mean, it's got to stop. And I'm sorry, I have another commercial I got to play. And then, can you believe the hour is almost up? Can you believe it? Give me 1 minute. We'll be right back.
Hallelujah.
Hey there, Jason McNamara here, and I'm about to drop something truly game-changing your way. Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 grind? Feeling stuck in obtaining the life you deserve and craving something more? Well, listen up, because I've got something you will not want to miss. Introducing the No More 9-to-5 Club Professional Membership, your ticket to freedom and success in the entrepreneurial world. With our professional membership, you'll get access to weekly coaching sessions, pre-recorded trainings, and a vibrant community of fellow game changers. You get access to technology that will allow you to automate passive income streams, as well as unlock all of our expert-led trainings in the back office so you know where to go for good advice when you need it. You will also use the club to build up a residual income stream with a 2-tier 33% affiliate commission unlocked at this level, allowing you to help people help themselves while generating a residual passive income stream for yourself. And here's the kicker. For a limited time, you can unlock all of this just for a $1.11 donation to our club foundation.
I like this one.
Your first month is on us. So what's holding you back? Click the link below, make your donation, and let's start building the life and business of your dreams together. Here at the No More 9-to-5 Club, we're all about turning dreams into reality and smashing through those glass ceilings.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, we've got the tools and support you need to thrive and evolve. And don't forget to sign up for our bootcamp training. It's the perfect way to kickstart your journey and unlock even more perks. So what are you waiting for? Join the No More 9-to-5 Club today, and let's make those dreams a reality. I can't wait to see you on the inside. You only get one now. Invest it in your better future. Let's make magic happen together.
No more 9 to 5. Let me tell you, this is a great organization and they support veterans. Oh, speaking of which, thank you guys for serving. I meant to say that if I didn't. No More 9 to 5 is an awesome group for masterminding, trainings, camaraderie, and just really pulling together some things to address the mind, the heart, and the soul. So you want to check out No More 9 to 5. I put the link in the chat. All right. Now, we've got and No More 9 to 5 is also one of my sponsors. Thank you, Jason. All right. Now, we only have, oh my God, I can't believe time is almost over. What I'm going to do is give each of you the last word. And then I would like, and I know, Ralph, you got to hurry up and take off. But if you, Herman, if you could hold on and just hang in with me for a minute after the show airs, I would appreciate it. And Ralph, thank you so much. You were supposed to be at another event. Much success on your campaign. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and staying. And tell your wife, thank you for taking, helping to pitch in for you while you were here on this show.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to let you start giving the last word.
I just want to say that, this book is something that has been, long and coming and overdue. But history, you can always tell that story. This isn't just a story for, Black history. It's a story that, we want to educate America. But it's important that, Black folk understand their own history. So that's that's basically what I have to say about it. I think that we think about how many books can we sell, but really this is about how many people can we educate. That's the bottom line here.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, and you can go off to the races and do what you got to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. And Herman, all right, I'm giving you the last word now. And I want you to just kind of share your heart and what it is that you want our audience to know.
Well, coming from the family, we want you guys to know that this book is very emotional to the family. It means a lot to us. We spend a lot of time digging in, doing our research, and unearthing the truth. But as the Follis family exemplified in sports, education, and music, the power of one exists in all of us. So we want to emphasize the power of one, to share in one kind of actness, one kind word, one gesture, one moment of supporting an elderly person and helping someone strive beyond their dreams to accomplish their goals. So we hope this book will inspire you and others within your community to help and reach out to the less unfortunate. The book can be found at charlesfollis.org, and as Vera pointed out earlier, on all your online platforms.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to cut you off, but I have to give a sincere thank you to you for having us on your show and giving us the platform to be able to voice and share our story from a family Black perspective. And it is American history, not just Black.
Absolutely. And I thank you so much. And if I can help get you on more platforms, that's what I'm going to do. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And with that, everyone, please have a great weekend. And we will see you next week. And Herman, if you could just hang out for a minute, I would appreciate it. Sure. Goodbye, everyone.
The Vera Show. The Vera Show. The Vera Show. The Vera Show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk.